Welcome to this episode. A few weeks ago I talked about frequent asked questions, and one of the questions that comes up all the time is cost. So today I want to give you an answer once and for all, and in the hope I can provide anything you need that you can come up to the same conclusion as I did. For that, let's go to Azure.com. Azure.com is a real treasure box. You just have to find your ways, navigate around. It's super easy. You find technical documentation, but you can also find everything around pricing. So let's click on pricing. As you can see on this website, it is full of information around pricing. It also contains different ways how you can purchase Azure and what it means to find which is the right model for you. But again, today I just want to look at the total cost of ownership. So let's go to the calculator. Important to know here is that the calculator at this point is really just to calculate your on-premise world versus what it will cost in the cloud. So it does not consider, for example, platform as a service, SQL as a service, those kinds of things. It's really what does a virtual machine or a physical server cost you in your data center and what does it cost in the cloud. So here you see it is certified by the Nucleus Research Center, the mathematics behind it. Let's start. Now a super cool thing is, besides here where you can make lots of selections, you can actually look at the assumptions and you can actually change the pricing here. So you could, for example, here say you want to edit, and you could edit the price of any of these servers. So if you say, hey, no, where I live, or in our case, or the discount we have, it's actually this price. And you can do this for a lot of things. For example, IT labor cost, or storage cost, networking, and so on. But let's jump back to inputs. First, you have to decide in which data center you want to deploy. Now, obviously, certain data centers can have different pricings. For example, a data center in India costs more because you need air conditioning, which you don't need, for example, in Dublin. Now, let's go for us to Europe North, for example. Then you can select the currency. Let's go with US dollars. And then it starts already with the questions. Do you want to look at physical servers or virtual machine? Let's say you have a cluster of SQL, or for your SharePoint environment, some physical dedicated servers that you don't run in a virtual environment. So you could say physical servers, you say which operating system you have. Then let's say we're not going too big here. It's 20 servers. I can say how many CPUs per servers. Let's say they have always 2 and they're like 4 cores per CPU. And then I could say, okay, it's 16 gigabytes of RAM every server. But that's not my whole environment. Those are just the dedicated physical servers. So we just can add a row. Now here I could say virtual machines. Let's go with Linux to mix it off. And I say, okay, I have around 50 virtual Linux machines. Each of them has 2 cores. And each of them get 7 gigs of memory. You can see I can add a row, and so on. Now let's go to storage. There we go with DOS-SON. We're going to go with SSD because that's how we roll. And we're going to say we have a lot, 10 terabyte. My backup, I'm just going with double the size. Archive storage is exactly where it's, let's say it's 35 terabytes. And the IOPS here for the data volume, and let's say 90. Then we have the outbound traffic, and let's go with terabyte just for the heck of fun. I click calculate, and now the total cost of ownership calculator does its magic. So you see Azure, the blue line, and your on-premise. And you see that it says over 3 years. I could have a possible savings of $500,000 when I put the environment, just as I put it into the cloud. Now when we scroll down here, you see all the costs split. You see hardware, electricity, virtualization, the compute costs here and in Azure. Now you say, okay, this is nice, but I still would like some changes which I haven't done in the assumptions. You can go always back into the input and assumptions and change it there and just recalculate again. Or you also can download it as an Excel. Let me just very quickly show you how this looks. Let's move this away so we see more. So here is the same view that you have seen before, but now here you actually can make adjustments of what it costs. Here you see price of electricity per kilowatt hours. I can make it a little bit bigger so you can see it better. You can say, okay, mine is like, I don't know, super rated and it uses less. But here you really can make a deep dive and adjust everything however you feel fit to actually see what is your actual cost, and then it compares it to what it would cost in Azure in that data center that you deployed. Now, if you really want to take the most benefits out of the cloud, then you go with PaaS wherever you can, because actually patching a Windows server or installing updates on a Linux server adds zero business value, but we all know that it is super critical for your security. Many of the hacks that we read in the newspaper have gone or were able because systems have not been updated, and we know a lot of IT departments have this motto of never touch a running system. But we can't just simply afford that mentality anymore. So my recommendation is always go for PaaS. For everything else, go to the total cost of ownership. Ask your finance department, ask them for that information, exactly what your electricity cost, what the labor cost is, and then you can have everything that you need to make a real business case 100% relevant for your company. And if you don't want to put that much effort in, it's still a super valid point to take average and industry standards and say, okay, this is based on the standards. We may vary a little bit, 7%, 12% of what we see here, but it gives you a start to really see how much money you can save in Azure versus on-premise when it's for the topic of infrastructure, storage. I hope you learned something today, and I hope you believe me now that there is always going to be some benefits when you move to the cloud, especially when it's coming down to cost. It is just a sheer thing of hyperscale cloud. The amount of servers we install, the storages that we have, it's like your Starbucks cup. It's not just hundreds, it's not just thousands, it's hundreds of thousands and millions of devices or servers, storage, hard drives that are being deployed in the cloud. So please help me spread the word, because it seems a lot of people still have these questions. Share the video with the peers, share the video with your IT lead, with your IT decision maker, or your finance department if you report into the finance department, and get moving. Get your company, your environment moving to the cloud. You will not regret it. There is so many benefits that you can reap when you go to the cloud. Please make sure you follow me on Twitter, sign up on WordPress, make sure you don't miss any of the future updates. And with that, I want to say thank you very much for taking the time of watching this episode, and I look forward to hear again for your feedback and any hints, or if you want to have any other topics covered, just let me know. Thank you.